Farmers in agribusiness frequently complain that North Dakota oil shipping is tying up the railroads, impacting delivery of crops to market. Discussion of that issue often leads to the question of pipelines. What is your position on safe transport of oil, the backlog of the commodities to market, and ultimately where do you stand on expansion of pipelines? Mr. Mills?
Well, certainly I support expansion of pipelines. Representative Nolan said that he supported the Keystone Pipeline. Then he got to Washington and voted against a bill that would have made it that much more closer to that project going forward. He said he was for the Enbridge Sandpiper Pipeline, and then he said, well, but just not on this route. Well, if we change the route of the Enbridge Sandpiper Pipeline, what happens is you delay it by 4 to 5 years, and it costs an additional $500 million, effectively killing the project. When you take a look at the $25 million worth of tax revenue that would come into our part of Minnesota, that's $4 million a year alone for Aiken County, which sorely needs the tax revenue. And I'm endorsed by the Farm Bureau, and when I talk to those guys, they have trouble getting their products to market. Because the rail cars are loaded with crude coming off of the Bakken. So you know what? We need to go forward with the Enbridge pipeline. They can do it safely. We need to go forward with the Keystone Pipeline. Our economy depends on it. You cannot be for jobs and against the activities that create jobs.
Thank you. Mr. Sandman, your opinion, position on shipping oil and pipelines?
That's not a very hard decision for me because where they're proposing to put that pipeline at runs underneath a lot of water, underneath a lot of wetlands. And if you watch the news, there's been all kinds of toxic spills out there. Is the science safe enough? I don't know. I don't think so. I know the president just the other day, or someone, I may be wrong, talked about getting new tankers. Why not split that? Some for grain, some for farm products, some for the oil. But definitely reevaluate those routes that they're talking about. I know we need oil, but at what cost? How is it benefiting us? Mr. Mills talks about some tax revenue coming through. Will that outweigh the spill if we have to clean it up? There's some real issues and some real thought to our environment that we need to think about and start doing about. I'm proactive rather than reactive. We need to sit down at the table with the people involved and bring all these issues and concerns of the people before we make a final decision on it. But where I stand right now, no. No on that pipeline. It's just like hydraulics. You try pushing more oil through it, eventually it's going to pop somewhere. We need to look at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Congressman?
Well, first of all, I've taken the time to study the consequences of rail versus highway versus pipelines. And to be sure, there are problems associated with each and every one of them, and none of them are perfect. But with regard to Sandpiper and with regard to Keystone, I do, in fact, support both of them. But Mr. Sandman's made a couple of good points here. And I would like to add to that. First of all, there's probably 40,000 miles of pipelines running through Minnesota right now. Every road's got a pipeline running down it, and they're everywhere. I am convinced in my mind that pipelines have to be a part of the mix. They do, in fact, have a lower carbon footprint. They are less prone to danger and to accident. And if we use American steel in those pipelines, as I have proposed in my legislation, they will be even safer. But when you talk about Keystone, the Tea Party Republicans brought a bill before the House of Representatives that exempted Keystone, a foreign corporation, from having to comply with the EPA, from having to get Army Corps engineer permits for installation and for maintenance, for having to post financial assurances when those accidents inevitably occur. Would you have voted for a bill like that? No, I'm for the Keystone and I'm for Sandpiper, but I want it to be done right. We have proven that we have the technology and the know-how to do these things and to do it right if we have the political will. But we can't let foreign corporations come in here willy-nilly and have their way with us. And the same can be said of Sandpiper. Mr. Sandman has pointed out that some of that is going through some very fragile soils and waters. And we need Sandpiper, but we can alter the route a little bit to make sure that we protect our precious waters, and that's what I'm for. I'm for pipelines, but I'm for doing it the right way.
Thank you, Congressman. Mr. Mills, a rebuttal, if you will.
Well, I keep getting accused of being a Tea Partier, and I'm not sure that's entirely accurate, but nonetheless, you know, the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers has been weaponized against projects such as Keystone. And you know what? After years and years of trying to get it done, and if these agencies aren't looking how it can be done, but trying to come up with every reason how it can be stopped, you know what? It's time to get the people's to take control of their government, again, from the bureaucracies and the various agencies, so we can get projects like Keystone going, so we can improve our balance of trade, our balance of payments, so we can become energy independent and then become a net exporter of energy. So whether it's Keystone, whether it's Polymet, enough is enough. We have to get on with it. This is jobs, it's our economy. This is the worst economic recovery in U.S. history. And we have various government agencies and bureaucracies for no good reason. All the hoops have been jumped through, the I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed. Let's get on with it. Let's reignite our economy.
Mr. Sandman, do you care to respond?
Not at this time. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Why endanger our wetlands for what it would bring to us? Does not offset. I always look of Mr. Mills made the statement of Camp Doctor and leaving it better. I don't see that happening when it does break. We don't have that technology. We don't have the funding for it. I can't see them stepping forward and doing it. I really don't. You know, we really need to take a look at this. This is dangerous. This is dangerous for the small-term benefit, for the long-term effects that will happen. It's not will it happen, but when it happens.
Thank you. Congressman, any final thoughts on that?
Well, not to be repetitious, but, you know, like I said, I grew up in a time when the lakes and rivers were so polluted they were catching on fire. The Mississippi River, where we live, boy, you get down there in the spring and there were toilet paper and condoms and turds hanging on every branch, and that was the good stuff, you know. That wasn't the toxic stuff. And you had to haul drinking water into Duluth, and acid rain was destroying our forests and our lakes, and everybody said, well, you got to have jobs or environment. You can't have both. Well, guess what? We went to work. We proved we have the brains. We have the technology to do both, and to do both, we must. Our waters are precious. Our jobs are precious. Our mining, our manufacturing is precious. Rebuilding this middle class is precious. And with regard to the economics of that, you don't rebuild the middle class by giving more tax cuts to the super rich and billionaires and fighting against a minimum wage for people that have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make a living. That's not rebuilding the middle class. That's not restoring the balance. And that's not restoring the American dream.
Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman, for the soundbite. Next issue.